What's an excuse for missing work that a boss can't argue with? What's an excuse for missing work that a boss can't argue with? My boss thought I was lying when I called in sick. I woke up with the worst headache of my life. The light felt like needles in my eyes. When I called my manager, Greg, he sighed deeply. Another migraine. That's 3 already this month. Today we have the client presentation, he said. I had never missed a presentation before, but this felt different. My vision was blurry and I could barely stand without feeling dizzy. I really can't go, I whispered. The pain made it hard for me to even speak. Take a pill and get here before 10. The team needs you, he said before hanging up. I crawled to the bathroom, threw up and somehow managed to get dressed. My neighbor saw me stagger toward the car and ran over to me. You look terrible. You can't drive like that, he said, taking the keys from me. I have to go to work, I mumbled, barely able to form words. She called 911. She did. The ambulance arrived quickly. As they lifted me into the ambulance, I kept muttering something about the presentation. My pupils that made me feel like knives were being driven into my head. How long have you had these symptoms? He asked. They started last night, I managed to say, but sometimes I get migraines. The paramedic exchanged a glance with his partner. Migraine. At the hospital, the emergency room doctor asked me if I had hit my head recently. I remembered that I'd bumped my head on a cabinet door 3 days ago, but it had seemed so insignificant that I hadn't even given it a thought. Have you had any memory problems? He asked. Yesterday, I forgot my phone's password. I had to reset it. I admitted it. While I was waiting for the brain scan, I received a text message from Greg. The meeting starts in, where are you? I tried to type, but I couldn't focus on the screen. The letters were blurring together. I gave up. The technician had just started the CT scan when he said, stop, call the neurosurgeon. In 3 years, I had never questioned his authority. I went to work with the flu, with food poisoning, and after dental surgery. At our company, Out was celebrated as if it were a badge of honor. The anesthesiologist made me to count backward from 10. I got to 7. Later, I found out that the surgery lasted 4 hours. The doctor had to drill small holes in my blood and relieve the pressure. The glancing blow against the cabinet had caused a small rupture in a blood vessel that had been bleeding slowly for days. Every time I ignored the pain to go to work, I made the situation worse. My sister stayed by my side in the ICU and called our parents, who were driving in from another state. She also called Human Resources to explain my absence. What she didn't tell me until later was that Greg had called her to demand to know when I'd be back. The quarterly figures are due on Monday. We need your Excel formulas, my sister said. Normally, the family diplomat patients. They're operating on her brain right now because she was afraid to take a sick day. That's enough commitment for you. During my recovery, my phone kept buzzing with annoying messages from Greg. Where are you? Waiting. This is completely unprofessional. Finally, my sister answered and told him she was undergoing brain surgery. There was a long silence. Then he hung up. 3 weeks later, when I returned to work, Greg couldn't look me in the eye. Human Resources had already spoken to him about medical sensitivity training. I still get migraines sometimes, but now when I call in sick, Greg just says, take care.